So I just want to talk about tests, right? And so tests come in so many different ways. Um, and I know even for, just anything that you are looking to do and any steps that you are looking to take forward, there's so many different attacks that can come on your life. And so, like, I don't think we really pay attention to the spiritual side of things as much as we do the physical. I think sometimes we always are looking at the physical things that are going on. I think we tend to wrestle against the flesh and the blood that, like, the scripture just warns us of not wrestling against. Like, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against spiritual things, right? And some of these things can be in high places. And I think even for us as men, a lot of times the attacks come on us a lot heavier than they will in somebody else in the family. And I'm not saying that people in the family can't get used in certain ways or can't get attacked in certain ways, but I think for us as men, it's very important that we watch ourselves. And because, like, God has a specific way that he has designed things, right? And so men are at the head of the household. So one of the things that I always say is that when attacks come, they really come and take a lot of effect at the head, right? So even in the physical, you see people walking around with a missing hand, a missing arm, a missing leg, missing different body parts, right? And they still have the head, so they are still able to function. But the problem is what happens to the head. If the head gets chopped or if the head comes apart from the body, then the life is gone from the whole body, right? And so God has positioned us at the head of our households. And so attacks come on the rest of the family, but I don't think they come as strong toward the men. And so, as we are just navigating through life, there are so many different things that we see and so many different attacks on us as men. And we have to be mindful and we have to be watchful of some of these attacks because I think, like I said, if you can destroy the body, then the head can still function, still can move. But if you destroy the head, then, the body and everything else is useless. So I think that's like, something that we hold like real high is that, like, as men, we have to really be watchful. We really have to understand that, at sometimes we have to be the one to be able to fight through in the family because, everybody else can get angry, everybody else can get upset. But when the man hits that peak, when the man hits that situation of where, it's almost like the point of no return, then I think the job is completed when the enemy is just trying to attack. And so, I think that, as men, we definitely have to be mindful of that. And I think for, anybody else, you also have to be watchful as well. But I do think that, when we see tests coming, we have to see, like, what is the motive inside of that. And I can think about, even my life. There's so many things that are so many instances where, I felt like I could have been gone. And there were things that were strategically placed in my way and, just kind of, I guess, put there for me to stumble over so that I didn't accomplish the greater mission. And so, I think about, even these videos, for instance, I'm not, putting myself on a pedestal or anything, but, I felt like I moved when God was telling me to, just start doing these videos, just start putting these things out, these videos of encouragement out. And I think that, in a lot of ways, there are things that come and try to stop it. And I think, we just have to be mindful of that. We have to watch that, we will complete the mission that God has set forth for us to do. And I think the temptation and the pull against all of us is to be able to be pulled away from what it is that God has set out for us. So, I think you just have to really dig deep within yourself, see the things that you are looking to do, but then also see the attacks and the things that are set there to take you off of, whatever mission that God has set forth for you. Yeah, we just have to be watchful of that. And I can think back into my life, times where I was caught up in sin, times where I was caught up in certain things, times where, I just kind of blooped or whatever and just lost it. And then, things, opportunities that I possibly had missed, or on the flip side, things where I kept it together when I could have blooped, and, I ended up walking through something. And then once I walked through it and seeing how God was able to use me, it was like, wow, here is where the attacks were at. And so, I'm speaking from hindsight, and I'm speaking from, I guess in the present, going toward the future. As you look through life and you look through things, just understand that attacks will come anytime that you are trying to do anything good. So yeah, I don't know. I hope this helps, because sometimes we look at the things that we go through as that it's just something foreign or whatever, but it's not anything foreign. There's a lot of things that we do face, and that we have to understand that, if God is using us, the devil wants to take everything that God is wanting to do for good, and he's wanting to eliminate it. He's wanting to stop us from it. He's wanting to hold us back from it. And so, next time that something is coming up and things come up in your life, which they do and they will continue to do so, just understand the bigger picture and think to yourself, what is the bigger picture? What is it that I feel like I'm trying to be pulled back from? What is it that I feel like that, the devil knows, in a sense of some of the things that God will use me for? He's trying to stop the mission. So yeah, just understand that, there's a bigger picture inside of some of the frustrations, some of the things that you are doing. And so, yeah, like I said, I hope this helps. And I'm Damien. Go ahead, hit the like button, go ahead and subscribe, and then also share this video to somebody that you feel like it could be helpful for. But I just try to put these videos out here to encourage and then just shed light on some of the things that, we go through in life. But yeah, like I said, I hope this is helpful. And until the next video, I'm out. Peace.